This is the intake side of a two-stroke carburetor. So when you take this off, you got, this is your gasket set up here. You've got your metering gaskets there and the body gasket. So when you go to reinstall this, you put the thick body gasket on the top half and the little thin gasket with the flappers against the main body of the carburetor. Inside the carburetor is a tiny little screen. That screen can become plugged with just about anything. If you buy a kit, you need to make sure that you get that screen out of there and put a new screen in. So that's the intake side of the carburetor. You have your high and low needle jets. I don't have the tool to take those out. It takes a specialized tool, so I can't get them out of there. This is the metering side of the carburetor. So you take those 4 screws out, pop the cover off. There's your fuel pump. You have a thick body gasket. It goes against the carburetor, and the fuel pump is between the carburetor and the cover. Don't know if I can separate them or not. Yeah, this is going to come apart. What happens is these get stretched out, or they get a tiny hole in them and they quit functioning. Then inside the carburetor is your metering lever. You want to be careful when you take that apart. There's a tiny little spring in there. When you take that apart, that spring will come flying out and you'll never know where it is if you're not careful. You don't normally have to take that screw all the way out. Just loosen it. There's your metering lever and your needle valve. There's the needle seat. This is the main jet here. It's got a check valve in it to keep from flooding the engine. Behind here, inside of here, are ports that gas goes through. If you buy a kit, you can remove that little Welch plug very carefully so that you don't mess up in the holes inside. Clean all that, put it back together, and just like a 2-cycle engine, inside of that chamber are the tiny little holes that correspond with the holes behind here. Mm-hmm. You see those?
Yep.
I dinged that one just a tiny little bit, but it should be just fine.
And then you just clean it all out.
Clean it all out.
Reassemble.
Reassemble. I use fingernail polish to seal that. They make a special sealer, but fingernail polish works fine. Then you put it all back together and hopefully it works.